back to my channel. So I want to talk about the last episode of Love During Lockup, and I specifically want to talk about Joey and Michael. So Joey is 46. He is a recovering alcoholic and he currently lives with his parents, and he met his man Michael before Michael went to prison, and they ended up meeting on this dating app. I believe it was Grindr. Joey used to be a hardcore drinker and used drugs, and he had been sober for almost 14 years, and he threw that all away the night that he met and hung out with Michael for the first time. They ended up shooting up meth together and getting high. And that's just a big concern right there, because when you bring two former users together, that just makes the chances of relapse so much higher, because all it takes is one person to mess up and drag the other person right down with them. Joey is a real estate brokerage coordinator, and Michael is an inmate who is currently serving time in prison for intent to deliver and drug trafficking, and he was also arrested for aggravated assault and theft, and he was arrested in September of 2023. So he has not been in prison that long, so I'm curious when he is set to finally get out. And since Joey has been dating Michael, he has not been able to see his boo in prison. Michael put him on the visitors list, but I guess they don't let just any visitor come visit their inmates in prison. You have to have met the person that you want to visit before they went to prison and have a picture with them, which I've never heard of this before. I know several prison wives and girls who are dating guys who are in prison, and I even Googled it and I could not find any of these rules at any kind of prison. But according to them, they claim that it is a rule here. So Joey, he's dead set on seeing his man, so he decided to get this picture photoshopped of him and Michael. And let's just be honest, the Photoshop job was not that good. Like, at first glance it kind of looks legit, but when you look closer you can see that the lighting and the skin tones are completely different. The shirt looks weird in the picture, but regardless of the Photoshop job not being the best, Joey still decided to send it over to the sheriff. I've never heard of this rule in my life, and honestly it kind of sounds dumb, because not everyone has pictures with each other, and you would think the prison would be open to the inmate building new relationships with people while they're in prison that they haven't met before, because that gives them hope and that can change their whole attitude and perspective while they're locked up and give them purpose and something to look forward to when they get out. Even Michael told Joey that the picture did not look very legit and it was obvious it was photoshopped, and Joey keeps saying, "Oh, I'm so scared. Maybe they find out it's fake and then I can't talk to him at all and they ban us from having any kind of communication," and he ends up getting in trouble. But it's like, man, if you were so scared, then why are you talking about this on the phone where it's recorded and pretty much admitting that's not legit? Michael called Joey up on the phone after he sent the picture to the sheriff, and Joey decided to ask Michael about his body count. And according to Michael, he has hooked up with over 6-7 different men while in prison, and he was asked about his body count outside of prison, and he wouldn't specify the number. It sounds like he honestly lost count, but he said it's well into the hundreds, so maybe even possibly the thousands. I wouldn't be surprised. Joey asked Michael, well, when you're hooking up with these guys in prison, it wasn't this last time while we were together, was it? And it took Michael a hot minute to answer that question. He was like, no. And it's like, okay, are you sure? I'm just having a hard time believing that Michael is going to be able to be faithful to Joey once he gets out of prison, because it's obvious with a body count that high that he is obviously a nympho. And if he's been hooking up in prison in the past and you're in prison and you don't got nothing but time, I have a hard time believing that Michael is turning down every opportunity in prison. But I don't have no evidence to support that. That was just pure speculation. But just based on his past numbers, and I don't even know if he's taking Joey as serious as he claims, because it's hard for me to believe that when he wasn't taking Joey serious in the past, he didn't want any kind of relationship with him. But once he's in prison, all of a sudden he wants to settle down with him. It just feels like a relationship out of convenience for Michael. I mean, hell, Michael said that he didn't even remember Joey at first because Joey really didn't even leave an impression on him. So Joey gathered his whole family to sit down and do the video visit with Joey's family. Starts asking him, well, why is Michael even in prison to begin with? And is this his first time in prison? And Joey admits that he's been in prison at least 4 times that he knows of. So Michael is a career criminal. With Michael being 40 years old and the amount of times he's been to prison, it's definitely concerning because he's been doing the same thing for so long. That's all he knows. And I'm not saying that people can't change, but the longer you've been doing something, the harder it is to finally quit. And a lot of people, once you get up in your 40s, your 50s, you start getting stuck in your ways. I mean, you can still change, but a lot of people are stuck in their habits. So I do have a lot of concerns if Michael is going to actually be able to stay on the straight and narrow when he gets out. Later on, it was finally time for the video visit. So Michael called in, Joey answered, and there was Joey's whole family surrounded around the laptop, all staring down Michael and ready to hound him with questions. But Joey came, and I think he handled it pretty well. He looked all clean cut, as good as he could for being in prison. And the dad actually appreciated that because he had this military haircut going on. And I guess he used to be, I think it was either the Army or the Marines, and Joey's dad used to be in one of those. So he could relate to Michael from the jump when it comes to that and kind of see him as a Marine instead of a prisoner. I really like Joey's family, especially his dad. It seems like he has a really good support system, and it's honestly surprising that he's dating an inmate and doing what he's doing with the kind of family support that he has. But overall, the family seemed to be happy with Michael, except the fact he was in prison. The visit went well, and Michael had to get off the visit because it was time to eat dinner. So they got off the visit, and most of the family seemed happy at the time until Joey's sister decided to drop a bombshell at dinner. So the whole family's eating, they're talking about Michael and him and Joey's future and their plans. And while they're all talking, they're asking Joey, well, hey, do you think that Michael is going to be able to stay out of trouble when he gets out? And Joey's like, oh, yeah, he's going to be able to turn his life around. He already has. And the sister was like, well, I know something that all you guys don't know. And when Joey met Michael, he relapsed after being sober for like 14 years. And the family, when they heard that, they all started breaking down, especially the dad, because apparently Joey had went so hard in the paint in the past with either drinking or drugs. He ended up in the ICU on a ventilator, and now every single time his family pictures him relapsing, that's all they can see in their heads. And you can only get lucky so many times, so they fear if Joey relapses again, then that may be his last. And the family became so emotional and worried when they heard about this, especially with the fact that Michael is in prison. Joey kept saying, well, he's good. He's turned his life around. He's not using no more. And his brother said, well, how do you know? Are you there with him in prison? He can still get stuff while he's in prison. And if you've watched 60 Days In or that new series on Netflix called Unlock, where they do like this experiment in prison, a lot of the inmates are getting high all day long. There's even dudes that end up going to prison who have never had a habit or used drugs before, and they end up using while they're locked up because they're so bored and they have nothing better to do. Plus, Joey just wants to rush into living with Michael as soon as he gets out without proving himself in the free world. And for all he knows, Michael can come out, relapse within a week, and then he's stuck in a lease with this man, and it's going to make things extremely complicated and hard to get out of. I'm just not sure about Michael's true intentions, but it's still early on, so we'll just have to wait and see. But I don't know. This can be really bad, or I don't know. Maybe Joey may be the person that Michael needs to turn his life around. And Michael did luck out because he claims he didn't really have a dad or much family support. And Joey has the family that everyone wishes they had. I mean, despite his dad drinking, you know, and being an alcoholic when he was growing up. But now it seems like his family's in a really good place and Joey has a really good, loving home. But that is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this couple so far in the comments below. Check out my lashes and cosmetics at AccordingtoAmber.com. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.